because it's definitely a unique situation that they're going through for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And one big change I made is I stopped watching the news.
I don't blame you there. I did a whole podcast on not watching the news anymore.
Yeah, and that helped a little bit because I would see his location on the news sometimes, and it would just make me very on edge.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So you said that like you set the kids down, and you kind of told them about 3 months ahead of time that that Matt was going to leave. Were they mad, angry? Like, how did they deal with that?
My 4-year-old had no idea what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't really understand what was going on probably until like 2 or 3 months into the deployment when he was like, "Where's Dad? Why isn't he coming back?" Because he's used to, like last year, Matt was away for 3 months, and so he's used to Matt being gone for short spans.
Yeah.
But then when it became month 4 and 5, he was like, "Okay, well, where's Dad?" And so my 7-year-old, he's my more emotional one anyway, but he just kind of clung to Matt a little bit harder. I could just tell in his demeanor and everything that he just wanted to be all about Dad right before he left.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was really sweet.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Well, and that's some time too that I'm sure just as much as it means to your kids, it also means the world to you being able to see that as a mother, but then also for Matt as a father being able to at least get those last big squeezes in before you go off and are going out and doing the work of our country. I mean, that's got to be
yeah,
a rewarding thing, at least in that moment, to be able to soak in those moments as best you can.
yeah, because Matt's a very, very hands-on dad. He tries to be as involved as possible. But
That's
the boys
awesome.
have been quick to inform me that I'm terrible at wrestling,
Oh yeah.
and they can't wait for Dad to come home, so that way Dad can do a much better job.
Man, I tell you right now, Matt better he better get ready because those boys are probably going to try to tackle him, especially because I'm sure they've grown a little bit since the last time he did that with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to take another quick break, and then whenever we get back, we're going to talk about how life has been during deployment. So stick around. Like I said, we're going to take one quick break. We'll come right back. All right, so we are back. So we talked about a lot about before deployment with you guys before Matt left. So let's just kind of shift gears a little bit and kind of talk about how things have been since he's been gone. So you said that he's been gone for roughly 10 months. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how often are you able to communicate with him? I know you said the internet's been an issue here and there, but how often are you able to communicate with him, and also how often are the boys able to go through and speak with him as well?
Well, we're really lucky where Matt is right now as far as internet, so I really can't complain.
Mm-hmm.
That we're able to talk. We probably talk at least once a week, or we try to, and we're able to text a little bit here and there. But sometimes when he goes to a second location, it's no talking at all.
Gotcha.
But luckily, he doesn't have to go there very often. But I mean, he's always been terrible at texting back in the first place.
Yeah. That's funny.
But
My wife would say
I
the
remember,
same thing about me.
yeah, I remember complaining to my husband when we were dating, like, never text me back. And he's just like, I'm just a terrible texter.
Well,
So
there you
he's
go.
always been.
You knew
he's
what you were
always
getting
been,
into.
Right. I should have known. But he's always been more of a phone call type of person.
Yeah.
But we try to talk at least on Saturdays. Saturdays was usually our day that we would FaceTime with Dad. And Elijah would, jump at the phone as soon as he heard Matt's ringtone.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Levi has no interest. And that's really where I've struggled to try to get Levi interested. Levi's 4.
Gotcha.
So he doesn't really understand, and he doesn't really care about being on the phone, but sometimes throughout the week I'll prompt him and be like, you should tell Dad about what happened at school today or this exciting thing that happened. And we try to send him as much arts and crafts as we can and write Daddy cards. And I try to send Matt a package at least once a month that we just send like love letters and those types of things, some treats and things to him.
Yeah.
But,
well, that's nice
Levi does.
Oh, go ahead.
What? Levi does like to draw pictures of
that's good.
Matt being Captain America, and then he's the Hulk, and his brother's Spider-Man, and then there's a pet lion, but I'm left out.
Oh, gosh. And they're like, I got Daddy as Captain America. Don't realize that Mom is Wonder Woman right here. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm always left out. It's hilarious.
That's crazy. Well, I'm sure he enjoys the letters and stuff, though, for sure. So as far as all this stuff goes, like, what would be like the toughest part of parenting, especially on your end, because, as much as Matt's doing out there for the country and with all the, the missions that he's going on, I mean, you're still kind of having to hold down the fort, if you will, back here. So what would be the toughest part of doing all this stuff back here?
The hardest part for me is not having someone to partner with. Matt and I, we're really confident in our ability to be partners with one another, especially when it comes to parenting. We always make decisions together. And so having no one to be my soundboard on even simple decisions, I feel that's my hardest part, is there's no one to fall back on.
Yeah.
It's all on my shoulders. And I think that's where I've struggled. But I think I've also grown in my confidence in that way, because I don't have someone right now to lean on, really. I mean, a lot of people say, I'm single parenting right now, but I'm not really, because I still have my partner, but I have a new appreciation for single parents.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
I realize how difficult and how much I never want to have to be in that position.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So whenever you're talking about like, the, kind of like having everything land on your shoulders, like, do the boys, are they kind of like recognizing that mom's the head honcho? Like, dad's still in the picture, but like what mom says goes? Or are they kind of like, well, Dad would do this or something along those lines?
At first, there was a lot of pushback. There was a lot of, well, that's not the way Dad does it, or, well, what about this is the way Dad says, and there was a lot of pushback at first. And there's a few breakdowns.
I'm sure.
from both of us, both sides, the kids and from me. And we've just had to learn how to be gentle with each other. And, it's helped with our communication, I think, and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely not been easy.
No, for sure. Well, I mean, it's got to be tough too. Just like, I mean, all the things that you must think of like throughout the day. Like, I told my wife this the other day. Like, this is no lie. I told her, I said, I have no idea what I would do without you. I was like, because like we were walking into a grocery store and I looked at her and I was like, did I lock the door on the truck? And she's like, yes, you locked the door. Did you not hear the beep? And I'm like, I legitimately feel like an 85-year-old man, like sometimes. And I mean, just that little piece right there. Like, I mean, I couldn't imagine, going through this life without having her. And even if it were only for a few months, like it would be extremely tough for sure. So like, what does day-to-day life stuff look like with him not here, as far as like your schedules? And, I'm sure your boys are involved in stuff. Like you have one that's in soccer, right?
Yeah. So we try, at least during the school year, we try to keep the same consistent schedule, and it kind of helps the way that our family schedule is anyway, is Matt's already at work at 6 o'clock, so I'm the only parent in the morning anyway, so
Gotcha.
that kind of helps that was not a transition at all for my family. But what's been hardest is probably the weekend, is the soccer game. It's all on me. I
Yeah.
can't say, hey, you get this kid ready and I'll get the other one ready and we tag team. We can't do that anymore. So I've had to wake up earlier just to try to get everything done. And sometimes I've had to come to the realization that I cannot do it all.
Yeah.
And so a lot of things I've had to just, they go on the back burner for a
sure.
while.
Yeah.
Like, so, but I'm really grateful that I do have family that lives close by that's able to kind of pick up the slack whenever I need it.
It's got to be super nice.
Yeah. And I've had to learn how to reach out for help when I need that. And, I've had to learn to put my pride to the side and ask for help, which was a struggle for me at first.
Well, I mean, most teachers are type A personalities, and we have a thing. We have an idea of how we want something done, and we know how we want it to be done, and we know exactly how it should be done. And a lot of times, it does suck in our lives to be able to say, "Hey, I can't do this." And like I said, at least you've got that family support system that's there too. That's got to be super. You got to be super fortunate for having that with you, and with that being so close too.
Absolutely. So, and I am the type A billboard.
Oh,
like, yeah. I have my school year planned out in May for the next year. And so when things don't go according to plan is when I fall apart and I don't have Matt to catch me. And that's been something that's been really hard to learn how to grow as a person and figure out, who am I without my husband right there with me.
Yeah.
And I think that helps me grow stronger and more confident as a parent. And I think it's only going to make us stronger later, like when he does come home.
Oh, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Well, because it's kind of like you said, like you're almost going to kind of have, I don't want to say a vacation because, I read a thing earlier that said that parents never really go on vacation. They just do the same job at a different location. But it's like, you've got to, it's got to almost be like a relief whenever, you can just focus on getting one kid ready and, then he can help get another kid ready. And you don't have to wake up 2 hours before, the boys do. Like, that's got to be a good thing that you're a big thing that you're kind of looking forward to for sure.
Yeah. And I'm a huge person that I need me time. And if I don't have me time, that's where I struggle.
Yeah.
And so learning how can I carve that out of my day when I have my kids all day, So that's been something that I've had to figure out with my schedule and lots of Uber Eats and
yeah, I'm sure.
Because I don't have anybody else to cook for me.
Yeah,
my husband was always
it's got to get done. And McDonald's only tastes good about 1 or 2 times, and then after that, it's like, okay, I'm gonna have to go through and do something else.
We've learned that cereal, like just cereal for dinner, like the kids' eyes light up, and it's been amazing.
Hey, that's awesome though.
I know.
So, like, as far as your meals go, like, do you do a lot of pre-planning and stuff?
Yeah, I try to, but
Okay, you're good.
What? I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
I don't either.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I can edit this out. So we can just do this again. So as far as like pre-planning goes, like what all do you do for pre-planning?
Well, I try to plan ahead as far as meals and stuff. I try to plan that, but we also try to plan ahead with talking to Dad too. We try to plan ahead of like what can you, especially with Levi. Well, let's write down some things that you might want to talk to Dad about, or let's draw some pictures that you can show Dad later. So I think that's some of the things we try to do to make sure that our kids are involved with Matt, and Matt can be involved with them a little bit. But
gotcha. Yeah. So, like, what's been the biggest challenge, like, over the past 10 months with you being, the mom with the 2 boys?
Holidays. Holidays have been hard. They've been, I told my mom that this Christmas was the worst Christmas of my life. And it's because